I get overwhelmed so easily. My anxiety creeps inside of me, makes it hard to breathe. What's come over me feels like I'm somebody else.
Hello guys. This is the Orange Hokage here, and today we are doing What If Naruto Went Back in Time with Sakura Part 30. Make sure you check the description for the original creator's story, and now let's get right into the story. Hashirama was walking about the damaged sections of the village with the three Uzukunoishi guiding him when he saw the looks of awe and shock the populace was giving him. Shaking his head in amusement, he walked up to the east wall and approached the squad commander. "Commander, tell your troops to fall back. I will fill in the gap." The commander, a portly man with laugh lines, turned with a scowl only to stutter in shock. "Shodaime-sama. How are you here? Was it something Naruto-sama did? Orochimaru used a kinjutsu to summon the Shodaime, Nidaime, Yondaime, the Red Death and Uzumaki Mito to use against us. Naruto-kun used the Uzumaki Resurrection Seal to bring them all back to life, Commander Akimaki," Karen explained, causing the man to nod and order his men to retreat back into Konoha proper. "There you go, Shodaime-sama," the man stated with an odd expression. Hashirama nodded and weaved a few hand seals before slamming his palms into the ground, right at the edge of the wall breach. With a light groan, the dirt floor bubbled as interlocking pillars of chakra-reinforced wood emerged and wrapped around each other into a strong palisade wall. Satisfied with his work, Hashirama turned to the commander and asked, "Where are the other breaches? It is best to seal them up first." "Of course, Shodaime-sama. The breaches are being taken care of by a team led by Anbu Captain Tora, consisting of elite Jonin Meidoge, Jonin Sarutobi Asuma and Chunin Minoruka, using their earthbending combined with Captain Tora's Makotan, sir. Last I heard, they were taking care of the breaches north of here." "Thank you, Commander Akimaki. Genin Uzumaki, please lead the way to the team. My addition to the team should increase the pace by a great margin," Hashirama commented, causing the three Uzukunoishi to nod and, with Karen in the lead, rushed off towards the northeastern section of the wall where Karen could sense Yamato's unique chakra presence. Tobirama, Minato and Naruto's blood clone were sitting at the latter's new office and checking through the paperwork generated due to the invasion. All three Kage were getting annoyed at the amount of paperwork resting on the desk. "When the hell will Gigi come? I thought he promised to help me as well," Naruto grumbled with annoyance as he stamped another piece of paper with a large red rejected remark. "Why the hell does the cryptography department want larger fund allocation at a time like this? He will never know, but damned if he gave the department what it wanted before the damage assessment finally came in. Here is a requisition form from the T&I department, son. They want to order 3 more barrels of the water of lattice." "What is the water of lattice, Naruto?" Minato asked with confusion. "Huh?" Naruto asked, looking up from the report he was reading. After a few moments, recognition rang through his head as he chuckled and said, "The Makusho clan of Yuzu under Suiron developed a fluid crystal emulsion that can be used to disrupt the chakra pathways when injected into the target's bloodstream. Easy way to disable the interrogation target without the need of a seal. Ingenious. Do you know how it is made?" Tobirama asked with a curious frown. Naruto shook his head and stated, "Nope. Even if Suiron idolizes me, she would deny the knowledge of its exciting clan secret. Besides, I can do the same with a bit of blood bending combined with chakra suppressor crystal dust. Just takes a lot more time and effort than injecting the water of lattice." Tobirama and Minato nodded in acknowledgement as Hiruzen walked into the office with a large folder clutched in his arms. With an apologetic expression, he stated, "Sorry for being late. It's just that Ibiki wanted to be as thorough as possible with his report. Here you go, Naruto-kun." Naruto nodded as he took the folder for Hiruzen and started skimming the contents. After a few moments, Naruto nodded in appreciation and stated, "Authorize the requisition, Dad. It seems that Ibiki will need it soon. That man really knows how to plan for the future." Minato nodded as he stamped the requisition form with a large green approved remark and placed it into the finished pile. Hiruzen, being curious about the form, picked it up and after reading the contents, chuckled before commenting, "That's why Ibiki was tense. He was afraid that you would reject the proposal." "Ibiki? Tense? Is that even possible?" Naruto asked with a chuckle, causing Minato and Hiruzen to chuckle before the former commented, "Oh, Ibiki was quite the warrior in our youth. He used to fret over every exam he took until the results came. I am surprised that he has risen to be the head of T&I now. The military police requests a new detainment area to be built near their HQ along with requisitioning 5 barrels of the water of lattice. Shall I approve of it, good dame? Bijūdama asked with a frown. As long as the commander doesn't plan to make the detainment area more secure than the Anbu one, it should be fine. Besides, the military police detainment facility is for mostly civilian and ninja below B rank threats, so it shouldn't cost much. Not unless he wants to have it approved. Give it a conditional approval. Naruto stated with a nod. The Bijūdama nodded in agreement and stamped the paper with a conditionally approved remark before writing down the conditions on the back of the sheet. After that, the rest of the day passed by in quiet companionship with little small talk in between. It is so nice to see the compound so lively. The last time I remember it being so lively was on my wedding day. Mito commented, getting a nod from Kushina as they walked into the compound only to be met by Jugo, Kimimaro, and Kanjiki Ayako. Halt. Who are you and how did you gain access to the compound? Ayako asked as she pointed her fingers at the 2 resurrected Uzumaki. Behind her, Kimimaro had copied her with Jugo starting to gather small amounts of natural energy in preparation of a fight. Stand down, you 3. Let them pass. Mocha called out as she approached the entrance with a smile on her face. Mocha-chan? You survived the fall. Mito exclaimed with shock and joy. That's right, Mito-Nizan. It seems that Naruto-sama wasn't pulling my leg when he said that he was able to fully resurrect you after Orochimaru brought you back with the Edo Tensei. I know that Kushina will be staying here, but what about you? Mocha asked with a teary smile. Kushina just nodded in acknowledgement as Mito frowned before stating, I will have to check the state of the Senju compound before I decide, but I, my husband and my brother-in-law will be staying here tonight. It would be easier that way. As Mocha nodded in acknowledgement of Mito's words, Kimimaro, Jugo and Ayako relaxed and moved away to continue their vigil over the entrance to the compound. When the 3 were gone, Mito asked, who were they? Clan retainers? Mocha shook her head and said, members of the Senjutsu Shinobi Force. Naruto-sama has ordered that Jūbi be rebuilt. The island is already being worked on, with a large trustworthy civilian populace relocated to it. The barrier seals are up and running again, as are most of the auto repair seals. We have been taking in unaligned shinobi clans and Nukenin with potential but with ignorable offenses in their names along with a new generation being trained, who will be ready in 2 years using the new wartime training protocols. Mito nodded in acknowledgement as Kushina gasped in shock. After the fall of Yuzu, she didn't expect to be able to see her home village ever again, but now her son was already preparing to make sure that Uzushiage-kura was back on the map. The thought brought tears to her eyes. Kushina? Mito suddenly called, causing Kushina to refocus her mind on the present and saw that they had arrived at the entrance to the main house. Blushing at her inattentiveness, Kushina smiled reassuringly and stated, sorry, got lost in thought. That's all right, child. Happens to the best of us. Let us sit down and discuss the events that have passed after our passing over a cup of tea, shall we? Kushina nodded with a smile to Mito's proposal as they walked into the large sitting room. Sakaki-chan, can you please bring us some tea and cakes? Mocha called out as she pulsed her chakra at the seal engraved into the middle of the kudetsu table. To Kushina's surprise and Mito's amusement, the voice of a young girl floated up out of the seal. At once, Mocha-sama. Shall I include Hinata-sama's favorite cinnamon buns as well? No need for it, child. Hinata-kun isn't here at the moment. Just bring the standard chocolate cream-filled bun cakes with a few strawberry cream-filled ones as well. Mocha replied with a chuckle as the seal glowed yellow for a moment before fading into a dull brown-black. What kind of seal was that? Kushina exclaimed in amazement as Mocha and Mito chuckled in amusement. After the elder duo calmed down, Mito explained, a simple communication seal. Originally developed before radios were invented, they can also act as intercoms. When you were a child, only the traditionalists used to use the seal, so you haven't encountered them before. Amazing. How could I miss such a beautiful seal during my and Minato's studies? Kushina asked with a frown before perking up and said, then again, I and Minato only studied the theory scrolls instead of checking the Fuinjutsu library. The shoji doors slid open to reveal a Toheim Enshin entering the room with Sasuke. Behind the Uchiha came a despondent pair of kids. On seeing who they were, Mocha released an exasperated sigh and stated, "Alright, what did these two do this time?" "Mocha-sama." Sasuke greeted with a light bow before straightening up and said, "These two decided to help the instructors at the academy fight off the invading force instead of evacuating with the rest of the students, causing the original plan to fail. I shall leave their punishment to you and their clan heads, but I must be going now. I still need to finish and hand in my report on my actions during the invasion, so please excuse me." "You are excused, Sasuke-kun. If you are free, feel welcome to come by for dinner tonight. I am sure that everyone would love to relax a bit after the invasion," Mocha stated, a smile on her lips causing Sasuke to nod and reply, "It would be my pleasure, Mocha-sama. Good day to you all." After everyone nodded in acknowledgement of his farewell, Sasuke weaved a few hand seals and vanished with a lightning shunshin, leaving minor scorch marks on the wooden floor which were quickly repaired by the auto-repair seals. "Uzumaki Natsu and Ibahachi, what do you two have to say for yourselves?" Mocha asked with a scolding tone. The two first-year academy students sighed and stated, "Forgive us, Mocha-sama. We didn't know it was planned out like that." "You weren't supposed to know. You were supposed to follow your teacher's orders and evacuate. I will be talking with Naruto-sama and Zabuza-kun about your punishments, but for now, you will sit here and make no sound. Am I clear?" Both kids flinched at the harsh tone Mocha directed at them, but nodded in acknowledgement. "Good," Mocha stated before turning to the two girls. "Hisui-kun, Shin-kun, let me introduce you to the resurrected Senju Mito, formerly Uzumaki, and Uzumaki Kushina, Naruto-sama's mother. Nizan, Kushina-kun, these fine young ladies are Itohime, the princess of Nizuenshin, the princess of Una. Both are Naruto-sama's fiancé, though Shino-kun is still conditional. I remember the talks Miraku, Minato and I were having about Shin and Naruto, but when did Naruto and Itohime get engaged?" Kushina asked, directing the question to Itohime. "It is a long story, so you should get comfortable," Mocha said as Sakaki entered the room with Mizuo, carrying trays filled with cakes and a large tea set. Setting the trays down on the kajutsu, the two made to leave when Mocha called out to Mizuo. "Mizuo-chan, can you please take these two troublemakers to the pantry and set them to organize the new stock into their proper shelves? That is their punishment for their insubordination against their teacher's orders to evacuate." Mizuo blinked before stating, "Insubordination? During the invasion?" Mocha nodded, causing Mizuo to turn a glare at the two children and gritted out, "You two. Follow me and keep silent. I will be having quite a few words for you two fools about what you did." The two children shivered as they stood and left the room with Elder Iba. Both knew that her version of words was filled with harsh physical training. After they left, Mocha picked up her cup of tea and sipped it before she started informing Mito and Kushina of all that has happened since their passing. "Uzumaki Teuya, right?" Teuya looked up from her bed in the cell to see a red-headed woman with dark amethyst eyes staring at her. After a moment of silence, Teuya nodded, causing the woman to smile reassuringly and state, "The name is Natsumi and I am the head of the Fuinjutsu department of the clan with only Naruto-sama surpassing me in both skill and authority. I will be the one taking care of the removal of your Tennojuin and the application of the probation seal on you. Cooperate and it will be appreciated. Don't, and let's just say that you will regret it." Teuya gulped at the threatening smile Natsumi was directing at her as the former Otonin gulped and stated, "Not like I want the pedophile's shitty seal on me. Besides, I defected the first chance I got to escape the fate that befalls most of the fucking snake's servants." "Good for you, Teuya-chan. You can come in now," Natsumi stated, a smile blossoming on her face as Tsunade entered the room with a large table filled with pre-prepared sealing tags and ink. Turning to Teuya with her smile taking on a sadistic tone, Natsumi stated, "Now undress and prepare for a lot of pain, Teuya-chan. Then when it is over, I can guarantee you will feel like a woman reborn." Teuya blinked before realization hit her, causing the girl to shiver in anticipation as he rushed to follow through with Natsumi's order. After she was completely undressed, Teuya laid down on the bed as Tsunade proceeded to set up and for a line with seals engraved on the hypodermic needle and a bottle. Finally, Natsumi placed a sealing tag right over the girl's heart and started the process of removing the Tennojuin form, the former servant of Orochimaru. A large gathering of shinobi of different ranks were celebrating together at a shinobi-only bar. The group consisted of most of the Konoha Jonin that participated in the Chunin exams this year along with a few of the foreign ones along with their Jonin sensei and their friends. The group comprised of Hyuga Neji, Rock Lee, Higurashi Ten, Yamanaka Ino, Narashikamaru, Akimaki Choji, Inuzuka Kiba, Aburame Shino, Uchiha Sasuke, Saratobi Konohamaru and Sai from Konoha with Samui, Amoyan Kurui from Kumo, Temari and Kankuro from Suna, Uzumaki Karen, Yuki Haku and Makeshu Suiran of Yuzu and surprisingly Kurotsuchi and Suzumbachi from Iwa for the Genin. Amanoruka was the lone Chunin, moving about congratulating his former students. Amongst the Jonin, names like Hitake Kakashi, Saratobi Asuma, Yui Kurenai, Mei Itoge, Mitarashi Enko, Baki of Suna and Iba Zabuza of Yuzu were seen sitting together sharing drinks as they watched over the Genin. Today was one hell of a day. Zabuza commented as he downed a saucer of the finest sake available at the bar. You can say that again. Asuma commented with a tired sigh as he messaged the back of his neck. At least Naruto-sama's plan worked out as planned. This must be the only time that a plan had survived first contact with the enemy, mostly. Kurenai stated as she bit down on the stick of dango the snake mistress offered her with a small nod of thanks. Let's not forget the kids. All of them acquitted themselves admirably in their first real skirmish. Ninju truly is the most powerful art I have ever had the chance to witness. A male said from behind the group, causing all of them to tense up and turn only to find Hashirama standing there with a jug of sake in one hand and a Sakazuki cup in the other, watching the Jonin with a glint of pride in his eyes. Shodame-sama. All of the Konoha exclaimed in greeting as they stood and bowed only for Hashirama to wave them off. Stop bowing to me. I hate those stuffy formalities. Besides, this day is to you, the ones who fought the enemy. I was the enemy until the Godame Hokage freed me from the Edo Tensei. The only thing I could do was help with the recovery effort, so I thank you all for your part in protecting the village I hold dear to my heart. Please Hashirama-sama, don't bow to us. Besides, it was our duty to protect Konoha. Kakashi said with a nice smile. Hashirama straightened up with a smile and said, even then, I wish to thank you for the dedication you showed in the defense of the village. You have my eternal gratitude. The Konoha just nodded at his words as Hashirama turned to Zabuza and said, I heard that you are the clan head of the noble Iba clan of the reformed Uzushi Algekure and a former member of the Kirigakure no Shinobi Gatana Shikainen Shu. I thank you for the help you offered to my village's defense, even if it was your daimyo who ordered it. You have my eternal gratitude for going above the call of duty, Iba-Zabuza. Hey! When Naruto-sama orders something, we Uzushin work to get it done to the best of our abilities. It is a shame that my new sword isn't ready yet. It would have been fun to use Ensui to destroy the enemies instead of the generic katana that Uzumaki Toka supplied me with. Zabuza said with a cocky tone. Says the man who had the honor to wield an Uzumaki forged blade. Everyone knows that only the blades forged at Tatsunokuni can even come close to such quality. Kairabi commented from the entrance of the bar without a single rap. For some reason, ever since meeting with Naruto at Kumo, Kairabi's rapping had decreased to only occasional bouts as he had suddenly turned extremely serious and started training like crazy. Zabuza was about to reply when Samui called out, Sensei. Are you here to join us in the festivities? Kairabi grinned and stated, that's right Samui. And not only me, but most of my fellow Jinchuriki as well. Young Fu has generously offered to pay for the tab. As Kairabi walked into the bar with Ujido, Roshi, Han, Utakata, and Fu, the mint-haired girl glared at the Hichibi Jinchuriki and said, I said that everyone's first bottle was on me, you eight-tailed moron. Don't make me punch you. Everyone blinked at the girl threatening a man who was feared for his immense powers both with and without the help of his Bijū, only for Ino to chuckle and shout, damn girl, what happened to your happy-go-lucky attitude? It seems like you are a completely different person now. You would be too, if you had to pay the full tab of a Jinchuriki at a bar. We don't get drunk due to our tenants, so we can put away quite a lot of bottles, and this moron is planning to hold a drinking contest. I am not paying for it. Fu exclaimed as he waved a fist at B's face, causing the man to wince at the girl's tone. Fu would have continued to rant, but Ujido placed a palm on the girl's shoulder and said with a long-suffering sigh, I can feel your pain, Fu. And don't worry, I won't be allowing the idiot to go through with his idea. I am sure Utakata would help me subdue and cart him off back to the hotel after a couple of bottles. Everyone looked at Utakata to see the man nod and say, of course, especially since Juki told Scan that he won't help purge the alcohol from B system as punishment. We don't need a drunk S-ranked ninja as boisterous as him roaming about Konoha. What? Juki, how could you betray me like this, yo? B exclaimed with fake sadness, causing many of the genin to crack up with laughter. Hashirama leaned into Kakashi and asked, is it just me, or are they all very friendly with their respective Bijū? Kakashi shrugged and stated, I believe that only Kairabi, Ujido, Utakata and Naruto-sama are that friendly with their Bijū. The relationships of the rest are unknown, all but the Godame Kazekage, who has a love-hate relationship with Shukaku, though both can ignore their own enmity to work together for the common good. That's all I know. You will have to ask Naruto-sama or Sakura for more details, Shodame-sama. Hashirama nodded with a smile before commenting, when I gave the captured Bijū to each of the villages in hopes of creating a deterrent for war, I didn't expect to see something like this. Truly what a wonderful thing friendship is. As the Jinchuriki sat down and started ordering, Sasuke spoke up, drawing everyone's attention. Oi Zabuza. I forgot to tell you, but I caught Hachao and Natsu leading a band of misfits that nearly ruined the academy trap. Luckily my team was able to get there before anything bad happened. Though you should know before you get drunk. Zabuza blinked before cursing. Those brats will be the death of Naruto-sama, and I thanks for the heads up, Uchiha. I will see about disciplining her tomorrow. Sasuke shrugged and stated, she is a member of your clan. How and when you discipline her is up to you. Zabuza nodded as Kurenai asked, who is this Hachao? A girl in the academy. She is the youngest of the 3 Hoshigaki siblings who joined my clan. She is quite pig-headed and tends to get into trouble with Uzumaki Natsu. This isn't the first time those two caused us a headache. Yeah, like 2 weeks ago when they snuck into the S-ranked sector of the Forbidden Forest and nearly got eaten by a tiger. It was lucky that I was training nearby. Anka commented with an off-handed tone before her face took on a sadistic expression as she said, taught them a lesson for sneaking into restricted areas. Let me guess, you summoned a snake and had it chase those two out of the forest, right? Zabuza deadpanned, causing the woman to give off a sadistic laugh. Yeah, and you should have seen the look on their faces as Kuramaru swooped down and swallowed the tiger whole and then turned towards the dynamic duo with a fake hungry glint in his eyes. That black mamba knows how to act. Anko exclaimed, followed by giving off a very mirthful laughter, causing most of the Jonin to shake their heads in exasperation, while the Konoha genin shivered in fear as they remembered some of the spars they were forced to participate in against the snake mistress during their ninju training. As the night wore on, the group continued with their festivities before some of them started scattering with the excuse of tiredness, while others were dragged off with the excuse of being too drunk to keep drinking. When morning finally arrived, many of the revelers complained of headaches and partially remembered memories for the night before. 2 genin in particular had found themselves in bed with each other in nothing but their underwear and no memory of how they came to be in such a position. Luckily for the pair, the girl wasn't really offended and the boy had been given the chance to explain the situation, which ended up with the duo remembering that they had gotten drunk and instead of returning to their respective homes, the girl had ended up following the boy home, where they ended up making out on the boy's bed in celebration. How their clothes came to be removed, neither remembered, but one thing was clear, both agreed that they were a good match. Even then, neither could look the other in the eyes without blushing as they prepared for the day ahead. Naruto. Sakura called out as she walked into Naruto's office, only to find Naruto slurping down some ramen. A tick mark formed on the girl's forehead as she stated with an overly sweet tone, "Oh Naruto-kun. Are you eating ramen again without permission from your dear physician?" Naruto froze as he looked up to see Sakura smiling at him with that overly sweet smile that tends to send shivers down everyone's spine. Gulping down the last of the noodles, Naruto gave a nervous chuckle and greeted Sakura, "Oh hey Sakura-chan. I didn't send you there. Silly, right? Me being such a powerful sensor and all." Sakura suddenly glared at the boy, causing him to shiver and jump out of his chair and bow kontao to the girl as he exclaimed, "Forgive me Sakura-sama. I will not touch ramen again without your permission." Sakura sighed as she rubbed her forehead and stated, "Don't ignore your diet plan, Naruto. It is for your own good. The medicinal tea won't help if you don't take in the right nutrition to help you develop faster. Anyway, I will ignore this transgression against my orders. So get up and then we can discuss why you wanted me here, what do you say? Naruto smiled in relief and got up before sitting down back behind his desk and motioned for Sakura to take the seat in front of the desk as he said, everything has changed now Sakura. We didn't plan for this to happen, but Kurama is right that we shouldn't fear to change the bad events. Still, the futures I can sometimes glimpse are completely different to our timeline. In fact, the events of our timeline seems to have been completely erased from your possible futures. Going forward, we are going to have to wing it. Sakura giggled, causing Naruto's heart to skip a bit before he got control of his emotions. Sakura saw the sad look on his face but ignored it as she said, when haven't we winged it, Naruto? The only reason the plan with the invasion worked as well as it did was because we had already known what to expect and acted accordingly. Besides, your clairvoyance isn't as powerful as Gamamaru-sama yet. It is expected that you won't see everything. But let me ask, what is the next big event you have foreseen? Konkia and the Land of Snow mission. I won't be able to go this time. I have foreseen it as did Sensei. Naruto stated with a frown. Sakura nodded before stating, not as Konki's guard, but you can head out to Snow in an attempt to meet with Doto under the guise of a state visit to discuss acquiring some of the chakra armor for Konoha or Yuzu. We just need to make sure that you will be Inuki no Kuni when Konkia and her guard detail are. Then you can interfere without alerting Doto about your true plans. Naruto got a far-off look in his eyes for a moment before he nodded and said, Kurama agrees with your plan, but wants us to include one of my Katsueki Bunshin on the guarding team as a backup. Sakura nodded with an impressed smile and said, it seems that Kurama's devious foxy nature is coming in handy. I agree with the plan. So any thoughts on which team to send? A composite team, because it won't be a genin one. Sasuke and Kakashi are a must. Sasuke's power and Kakashi's experience will be good. A clone of mine is planned, but disguised as, say, Lee. I would like to send you, but I think having Ino as is better, especially since she can fly and can help with secure communications over a large distance. What do you say? Sakura thought for a moment before stating, I would have liked to go, but you are right that Ino would be more useful with her ability to help with secure communications. Do you remember when the mission is supposed to happen? After the daimyo meeting in Iwa. I can use that to set up the state visit with Doto without it looking suspicious. Naruto stated, causing Sakura to nod in agreement. That is a good idea, Naruto. Besides, it will also be after your upcoming marriage with Hisui and Hinata, so you can even state that you wish to acquire 2 sets of chakra armors for your newlywed wives. It would be a good excuse. Sakura stated, a sad smile gracing her face at the thought of Naruto getting married. She was cursing herself for how she treated him in their past timeline and now she didn't have the courage to approach him to start a romantic relationship with him. Not with the amount of weight already on his shoulders. She wished that she remained clueless about her true feelings. If only Genbu-sensei had not forced her to confront her feelings before starting her senjutsu training. Naruto picked up on her sadness but misinterpreted it. With a reassuring smile, Naruto said, don't be sad Sakura-chan. I am sure that Sami won't mind you marrying Sasuke as well. Sakura blinked in surprise before giving Naruto a small smile filled with affection and stated, don't worry about me Naruto. I don't really have the time to forge romantic relationships with anyone. Not like you, Mr. I can create thousands of clones. Naruto blushed at Sakura's praise and stated, let's forget about marriage and prepare for the next set of events. I have a confession to make, Sakura-chan. Sakura cocked an eyebrow at him causing him to sigh and state, I had sent a clone to Nagato and with an offer to side with us. I even used the memory transcription seal to give them the knowledge of what would happen if he keeps on his path. I believe that he will come to our side. Sakura gaped in shock before her face turned red with rage. What the hell were you thinking Naruto? How can you be sure that Pain will side with us? In fact, I fear that he will be preparing to take you and the other Jinchuriki down. I believe that Nagato will side with us, Sakura, because he had done so in the other timeline. The visions he saw should help sway his support to our side and with it we gain Konan and Pain within the Akatsuki organization along with the main white and black Zetsu who I put a control seal on while in Mizu. Just like you put a seal on Orochimaru without him knowing? Sakura asked with a wide-eyed expression as realization finally dawned on her. You also placed a seal on Nagato and Konan, right? I don't know what you mean, Sakura-chan. Why would I place a control seal on them? No, I would place a suicide seal. Naruto said with a mischievous grin, causing Sakura to chuckle. Only you, Naruto, but how did you place the seal on Pain's real body? Snuck up on him while he writhed in pain from the transcription seal. All of his paths contain the seal. When activated, the seal will seal them away inside themselves. It's a simple Yorashizu and hidden behind a camouflage seal to hide its existence from the targets. Naruto said as he handed over a sealing tag to Sakura to look over. Sakura's left eye twitched in annoyance as she said, I can't decipher any seal above global rank 3 sealing styles, Naruto. How the hell do you expect me to understand something that is Uzumaki rank 5? Naruto blushed in embarrassment at his blunder and took back the sealing tag and stated, sorry, forgot that most don't understand sealing. It seems that having Uzumaki clan members to spend time with has spoiled me a bit in that regard. Sakura nodded and said, that's alright. The Uzumaki are known for their sealing abilities. Anyway, are you going to be replacing your Ketsueki Bunshin for the promotion ceremony? Of course. It would be disrespectful if I didn't personally hand out the promotions, especially since the other Kage are going to be participating in the ceremony as well. Anyway, did you have breakfast yet? Naruto asked with a frown. Sakura shook her head and said, not yet. I was going to head out and visit my parents and have breakfast with them. So, if we are done, see you at the ceremony. Naruto nodded in dismissal as he started eating his ramen again while Sakura glared at the bowl before turning and leaving the office with a small huff. After she was gone, Gaara appeared from the shadow and said, while I think you are being foolish with Pain, since you are taking measures to prevent treachery, I will support your decision, but I can guarantee that Skin and Utakata won't be pleased to meet Pain. Naruto nodded and said, still, Pain would be a very powerful ally and it is better that Tobi doesn't get his hand on the Rinnegan. Want some, Gaara? Gaara blinked as Naruto unsealed another bowl of steaming ramen and offered it to his fellow Jinchuriki, who shrugged and sat down to share the unhealthy breakfast with his first friend. In the large ceremony chamber of the Hokage Tower was arrayed a collection of distinguished shinobi and kunoichi from 6 different nations, all jounin. In front of the jounin stood their respective genin teams, if they had any. At the end of the chamber, sitting on a raised dais was a large wooden table. Behind the table were arrayed the 5 current Kages of the 5 great nations in their ceremonial robes. Off to the side were the former Hokage, the shinobi clan heads of Konoha and Yuzu, and surprisingly the daimyo of the 5 great nations. The genin watched as the Kage shuffled some papers and quietly discussed with each other before Naruto stood up and declared, as I call your name, please step forward. Shikamaru. Troublesome. Why did I have to be the first? Shikamaru mumbled underneath his breath as he stepped up to the dais. We have all read the reports of your actions during the invasion and watched your performance during the Chunin exams finals. Due to your superior planning and adequate strength, it gives me great pleasure to promote you to Chunin. Congratulations. Naruto said with a smile as he handed Shikamaru a bound scroll and his new Chunin flak jacket. Shikamaru received the items with a bow and retreated as Naruto called the next name. Akimaki Choji. Choji stepped up and waited for the review. You have acquitted yourself well during the invasion, but you didn't show the necessary traits that we look for in a Chunin. Still, I commend you for your actions and strength. Keep up the good work. Yamanaka Ino. Choji bowed and retreated as Ino sauntered up to the desk with a coy smile. While your actions during the Chunin exams finals guarantee a position as a Chunin of Konoha, your immense power and your actions during the invasion, especially the defense of the Commerce District during the unexpected breach and your skillful commanding of your fellow genin has caused us to reconsider. In the end it was decided that you shall be granted the rank of Takubutsu Jonin with a specialization in recon and intelligence gathering. Congratulations, and as of this moment you are also considered a master airbender. Ino bowed with a surprised expression as she took the bound scroll and the Jonin flak vest before stepping back as Naruto called up the next candidate, which coincidentally turned out to be Nisamyu. Naruto sat down as he stood up and addressed her. Nisamyu. You have done well during the exams and also during the invasion. Your prompt reactions while leading your fellow genin teammates led to minimization of the damage done to the stadium district. For that you have earned your promotion to Chunin. Congratulations, kid. Sammy bowed as she took the scroll and Chunin vest and retreated as Amoy and Kurui were called up in turn only to be thanked for their part in the invasion but not having been given a promotion due to not showing required criteria for Kuma Chunin. He then sat down as Naruto stood up and called up the next candidate. Hyuga Neji. Neji stepped up with a stiff spine and waited for his review. While you have done well in the Chunin exams, and during the invasion, most of your actions weren't the most thought out of plans. Even so, you showed the capability of being led by your junior during war. For that reason only, I am promoting you to Chunin on a probationary basis. You will not be getting any duties as a leader for the next year, during which time your actions will be heavily evaluated. Dismissed. Neji gave a stiff bow as he took his Chunin vest and scroll before stepping back, allowing Lee to be called up. As Lee stood there with a confident smile, Naruto smiled at the boy and said, "Your battle prowess were very well displayed during the exams, both in taijutsu and airbending. Then there were your actions during the invasion, where you took the initiative to gather a team around you and launch a counter-offensive against the Otonin who had managed to sneak in. Your counter-offensive was swift and impeccably timed, allowing you to easily subdue and capture the enemy. For that, I grant you the position of Jonin. Congratulations, Lee. As of this moment, you are recognized as a master airbender." Dismissed. Lee and Gay were about to scream in joy when a sudden foreboding feeling washed over them. Turning to the source, both saw Tenten smiling at them with a few kunai floating around her. Stamping down the urge to scream and hug, both quietly waited as Tenten was called up. "Higurashi Tenten. You have acquitted yourself both in the exams and the invasion. Your prompt response to Yamanaka Ino's call for aid to counter the Commerce District breach and your own separate actions afterwards has convinced me that you deserve the rank of Takubutsu Jonin with a specialization in Bukijutsu. Congratulations. As of this moment you are recognized as an expert of metal and earth bending." Tenten bowed as she received her scroll and vest and stepped back as Onoki stood up and called on Kurotsuchi to step forward. As Kurotsuchi stepped up, Onoki grumbled under his breath before stating, "Good job, Kurotsuchi. You did well during the exams and the invasion. For that, you will be promoted to Chunin." Kurotsuchi blinked her pink eyes in shock at the manner her grandfather stated that but ignored it in favor of bowing to the cage as she received her scroll and vest before stepping back into line as Onoki proceeded to call up Suzumichi and Akatsuchi in turn and thank them for their actions during the invasion and the exams before dismissing them with a gruff grunt. Naruto stood up again and called up the next candidate, who just so happened to be a very excited Kiba. "Inuzuka Kiba. You were nearly worthless during the exams, but you redeemed yourself during the invasion. Even so, I am sorry to say that you are too immature to be given a promotion in rank. Train hard, Kiba, and learn to curb your arrogance. I am sure that when you take the next Chunin exams, you will be promoted if you do." Dismissed. Kiba deflated at Naruto's words as he and Akamaru walked back to the line of jetting with a depressed mood. He was so depressed that he missed the reassuring smile Hinata offered him as she was called up to the dais. As Hinata reached the dais, she was surprised to see the other 4Kage watching her and Naruto with interest. "Hyuga Hinata. Your actions during the invasion was invaluable, especially your newly created spirit bending that allowed you to directly harm the targets without even touching them, not to mention how you were able to pacify some of the enemy ninja into a blissful emotional state with the same art. Due to your actions, Konoha suffered far lower casualties than anticipated. Your actions during the exams were just as good. After discussing it with my fellow Kage and the former Hokage, it is decided that you shall be granted the rank of Takubutsu Jonin with a specialization in tracking and capture. Also, from here on out, let it be known that you are considered a master in the art of bending water and as the creator of the art of spirit bending, a master in it as well. Congratulations." "Thank you," Hinata said in a soft tone as she received her scroll and vest, surprising the other Kage with her daring. Straightening up from her bow, Hinata gave Naruto a small smile and stepped back into line as Naruto called up Shino. "Aburame Shino. You have shown that you have a good head on your shoulder both during the exams and during the invasion. With strategic use of your fire bending and your Kikaeku, you were able to direct many invading Otonin into ambushes set up by other Konoha ninja and allied ninja. For that alone, you have earned your place as a Chunin of Konoha. Congratulations." Shino bowed and received his scroll and vest before stepping back into line as Naruto called up one of the Yuzu trio. Haku walked up and waited with a cool expression on her face, though Naruto silently chuckled at the emotions he was feeling from her. Relax, Haku. You have nothing to fear. Now for your review. You did very well during the exams and you along with your fellow teammates personally took down 5 separate squads of Otonin consisting of 3 Chunin led by a Jonin each within a span of half an hour. For your actions and your extreme mastery of your Hyutan Kekkai Genkai along with your use of water bending to heal when needed, I have decided to promote you to Takubutsu Jonin with a capture and field treatment specialization. Congratulations. Haku bowed with tears in her eyes as she received her scroll and vest before stepping back to allow Karen to take her place when Naruto called the redhead up. Again to everyone's surprise, Karen grinned and asked, "So what do I get, Naruto-kun?" Onoki's right eye twitched in annoyance at the blasé attitude the Uzumaki heiress was displaying while Mai just chuckled with grinning at the girl. Gar didn't look any different though Karen could pick up his mirth through the texture of his chakra circulation. Naruto shook his head with mirth and said, "You also get Takubutsu Jonin rank for exactly the same reasons as Haku with a specialization in sensory recon, battlefield treatment, and sealing specialist. Congratulations, and to make this short, Meikeshosu Iron, you are also being granted the rank of Takubutsu Jonin for your swift actions with your teammates and your mastery of your Kekkai Genkai and crystal bending. Come up and take your damned scroll and vest so that we can get on with this stuffy ceremony." The audience blinked at the sudden break in protocol as Suiren walked up to the table and quickly took her scroll and vest before bowing with Karen and retreating back to the rest of the candidates. After a few moments of silence, Gaara sighed and stood up. "I am sure that all of you have heard of my ascension to the post of Kazekage during the invasion, so I will keep my promotion ceremony out of this one. Now would Kazekage Kankuro please step up?" Kankuro walked with a nervous expression as Gaara focused his impassive gaze on him, causing the Kugutsu user to shiver in fright. After a long silence, Gaara spoke up, "While you have the skills of a Chunin, you unfortunately don't have the disposition to be one at the moment. Still, thank you for being there for me when I truly needed it, brother." Dismissed. Kankuro blinked in surprise before quickly retreating to stand in front of Baki as Temari was called up. Temari walked up to the desk with her head held high, but with a nervous glint in her eyes. Gaara smiled at her and said, "You have exhibited both the skills and the temperament to be Chunin, both during the invasion and the exams. For that, you are hereby promoted to the rank of Chunin. Congratulations, sister. May you bring honor to Suna." Temari blinked before smiling as she bowed and received her scroll and vest and quickly retreated as Gaara sat down while Naruto stood up again and called up Sasuke. The last Uchiha walked up to the dais with a proud demeanor and stood in silence as he waited for his review. "Uchiha Sasuke. What can I say about you? Your clan was known to produce elites amongst ninja all over the elemental nations, and once again it is proved that Uchiha are one of the elites of the world. You have showcased immense power, immense cunning, a great degree of leadership quality, and most of all the humility to not show off. All qualities that are admirable in Chunin and more so in Jonin. Your mastery of firebending and lightning generation is adequate to have you classified as an expert, and your mastery of your jutsu is just as great. You have manifested a complete Susanoo and have used it to great effect during the invasion and the exams. For these reasons, we have decided that you deserve the rank of Jonin. Congratulations and keep up the good work." Sasuke nodded as he took his scroll and vest before bowing to the cage and walked back to the rest of the candidates as Sai was called up. Sai stood there with a vacant expression as Naruto declared him a Chunin for his skills and actions during the invasion before dismissing the boy and calling up Konohamaru. That caused a ripple of whispers to spread around the chamber. "Sarutobi Konohamaru, my dear apprentice. You have done me proud by both your actions during the exams, the invasion and the aftermath. You had personally taken it upon yourself and your earthbending to help repair the breaches to the wall even when a team of more experienced Jonin and Chunin were already assigned. In the process, you were able to find and seal away breaches that existed from before the invasion. Breaches that were overlooked by Konoha's patrol teams. While I would prefer that you be kept a genin for some more time to gain more experience, it was impressed upon me by my predecessors that you are more than capable to handle the responsibilities that come with a promotion. For that, you are hereby promoted to Takubutsu Jonin with a specialization in demolition, engineering, and assassination. Congratulations." Kanehamaru smiled at his Shizu as he received his scroll and vest before bowing and retreating to show off his new vest to Kakashi and the rest of his team. Everyone expected the ceremony to be over when Naruto called for attention. I am sure all of you expected the ceremony to end, but there is one more matter to discuss, so please bear with me. First, Mitarashi Anko, you have proven your strength and will of fire during the invasion as you single-handedly turned the tides of war in our favor in the Eastern Front. For that reason, you are hereby promoted to Elite Jounin, and as the Heavy Sennin, you are now granted Sannin travel rights, effective immediately. Naruto stated as Anko nodded with an excited smile as Naruto turns to Sakura and stated, "Next, Haruno Sakura. You have proven your strength once again and helped push back the enemy army on the northern front where there were multiple snake-summoned traitors wreaking havoc. For that, you are also promoted to Elite Jounin, and due to your Kame Sennin status, you are also given Sannin travel rights, effective immediately. Finally, Uzumaki Kushina, please step forward." Everyone blinked in shock as Kushina walked up from beside Minato wearing her old Anbu commander uniform without her mask and kneeled in front of the cages and waited for Naruto to continue. "Until recently, you were dead only to be resurrected when the traitor Orochimaru tried to use you against Konoha with the use of the forbidden Edo Tensei no Jutsu. Now you have been fully resurrected in your prime and wish to come back to active duty as a Konoha ninja. I have decided to grant your request. Recently, due to the treachery of some unscrupulous individuals of Konoha, our last Anbu commander was killed in an ambush. I hereby appoint you back to your old position as Konoha Anbu Commander Bendiime, an S-ranked Jonin of Konoha, also known as the Akaichishio no Habanero. Rise and take your new mask and identity." Kushina stood up and received the porcelain mask from Naruto and put it on before bowing to the cage and turned around to face the audience, all of whom gasped at the terrifying sight. The mask was in the shape of a female Hanyu mask in bloody crimson. As Naruto silently dismissed Kushina, the cage stood up and started to leave as Naruto said, "The ceremony is over, all of you are dismissed." So that's it for today, guys. If you like this story and want more, then please subscribe and turn on the bell icon. Until then, take care and goodbye.